All right, everyone. As a staff engineer, I've seen a pattern happening over and over again, and we really need to talk about it. It's this critical trap that so many developers fall into, especially when they're working with a language as versatile as Python. And yeah, I get the irony, using an AI to generate these slides for a talk about surviving AI, but this isn't just AI slop. It's about using our tools to sharpen our thinking so we can face what's coming. So let's get right to the heart of the issue. Python's landscape is just massive, right? You can do web dev, data science, you name it. And that can trick you. It makes you think that collecting a wide but really shallow portfolio of skills is the way to succeed. You feel like you're making progress, but it's a dangerous illusion. And this brings us to the question you really need to ask yourself, because that mile-wide, inch-deep approach, well, it makes you incredibly vulnerable. You become easy to replace by the very AI tools that are supposed to be helping you. It basically turns your skills into a commodity. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to really dissect this problem and define what this paradox actually is. Then, we'll walk through the common pitfalls I see all the time, both at the keyboard and in how people plan their careers. And finally, we'll map out a clear path forward, how to build a durable, long-term career as an engineer, not just a coder. First things first, let's be crystal clear about what we're up against. And this isn't really just about Python. It's about a whole mindset that AI is perfectly positioned to take advantage of. So here's the bottom line. Your real value, the skill that's actually defensible, isn't about knowing a little bit about everything Python can do. No, it's about a deep, principled understanding of software engineering, the actual craft of building solid, maintainable systems. All right, let's dig into the first set of traps. These are the ones that pop up right when you're coding. They're the little habits that feel like you're being productive, but in reality, they're holding back your growth as an engineer. I see this all the time. You feel like you're moving fast, flying through the code, but you're just outsourcing your thinking to the IDE. If your main skill is just stitching together code from what your IDE suggests, you're just a slower, less efficient version of GitHub Copilot. And that's a game you are absolutely guaranteed to lose. And that leads to the next trap, what I like to call the package collector. Sure, you know the exact pandas function to load a CSV file, but do you actually understand the memory implications of doing that with a 10 gigabyte dataset? You can use the requests library to hit an API, but do you get what's happening in the client-server model underneath? That's just following a recipe. It's not engineering. And let's be brutally honest here. A single, simple prompt to an AI can spit out the exact same script that you might have spent months learning how to write. That skill of just memorizing function names and their parameters, it's been almost completely devalued. It's an automated commodity now. Now, you can see how these little habits at the keyboard start to get worse. They compound over time and turn into seriously flawed long-term learning strategies. This is where we go from just bad coding habits to moves that can really damage your career. I called this one the domain hopper. You see it all the time. One week, they're all in on Django. The next week, it's TensorFlow. You end up with a portfolio full of Hello World projects, and you become a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And that makes you incredibly easy to replace with an AI that, mastered all of those domains instantly. Okay, this next point is absolutely critical. There's this dangerous idea that because Python is a high-level language, you can just ignore what's happening on the system underneath. Well, that illusion completely shatters the moment your script crashes with a file not found error because you don't understand file paths, or a memory error because you have no idea how system resources are managed. And here's the real kicker. These are the exact kinds of problems that AI is terrible at solving. An AI can generate generic code, but it has zero context for the specific server it's going to run on or the memory constraints of your environment. This is where your human expertise isn't just valuable, it's essential. So we've talked a lot about the problem. What's the antidote? How do we actually escape this paradox and start building real, durable value in the age of AI? The answer is we have to completely shift our focus. This right here is the most fundamental misunderstanding we have to fix. Coding is about writing instructions. That's it. But engineering? Engineering is about building clear, maintainable, collaborative systems. Your goal is to manage complexity, not to show off how many clever, obscure one-liners you know. And this quote just sums it up perfectly. This is the mindset shift you have to make. Your value is not in how well you recall syntax. It's in your ability to apply logic, to design systems, and to solve messy, ambiguous business problems. So this is your roadmap. This is what you need to be focusing on. These are the skills of an actual engineer, and these are the abilities that AI complements instead of competes with. See, in the hands of a real engineer, AI is an incredibly powerful tool. But for a shallow coder, it's a replacement. This is how you become indispensable. I'll leave you with this final thought. Stop optimizing for things that are going to be automated away. Start focusing on becoming the person who can ask the right questions, who can decompose the problem, and who can design the system. Let the tools handle the typing. That is how you survive, and that is how you'll thrive.